The Maple Creek Estates Community Center, an ostentatious building with columns and a fountain out front that looked like it was trying desperately to be impressive. I slipped in quietly and took a seat in the back row. About 30 people were present, most of them looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Richard Wilkins was exactly what I expected, a man in his mid-50s with perfectly coiffed silver hair, wearing a blue blazer with gold buttons and a country club smile that never reached his eyes. He ran the meeting with the self-importance of a small-town dictator droning on about lawn height regulations and approved mailbox designs. When he finally got to the topic of lake regulations, I sat up straighter. We've had reports of an unauthorized boat being stored on community waters. He announced, a note of annoyance in his voice. I want to remind everyone that all watercraft must be registered with the HOA and must comply with our aesthetic guidelines. The lake is one of our community's most valuable assets, and we must maintain its pristine appearance. I couldn't help myself. I raised my hand. Richard Wilkins looked surprised, clearly not accustomed to audience participation during his monologues, but nodded in my direction. Yes, the gentleman in the back. I stood up, keeping my tone casual and curious. I was wondering if you could clarify something about the lake. When you say community waters, what exactly do you mean? Who owns the lake? A ripple of murmurs went through the crowd, and I noticed a few residents turning to look at me with interest. Richard's smile tightened just a fraction. The lake is a community resource under HOA management. It's been that way since the development was established. His tone was dismissive, clearly intending to shut down the conversation, but I wasn't finished. I pressed further. So the HOA has a deed to the lake, or is it owned by the county and managed by the HOA through some kind of agreement? Several residents were now paying close attention, and I saw one older man nodding thoughtfully at my question. Richard was getting visibly uncomfortable, his knuckles whitening as he gripped the edges of the podium. There are historical arrangements in place. The specific details aren't relevant to this meeting, but I assure you the HOA has full authority to regulate all activities on the lake. His tone had turned sharp, but I kept my expression innocently curious. That's interesting. I'd love to see those documents sometime, just out of curiosity.